I recently discovered that my 19-year-old brother, who was in college, appeared in a gay porn video, which was shocking and distressing for me. No, this isn't a troll post. I'm the big sister for my brother. I'm 28, he's 19 in college. I've moved out of my parents' house a while ago, but when I do see him, he seems to be doing well. He's really active, and he has a really healthy and happy relationship from what I've seen with his girlfriend. Back home, I'm married to my wife. We don't have any kids, but we have 2 dogs we'd kill for. And we both watch porn together, as weird as some people may find it. It helps us have a more intimate time with each other in bed. What my partner likes the most is gay porn. If straight men find lesbian porn something that turns them on, so can we for the opposite sex. When we both have time, something the 2 of us will do is search up porn beforehand. That way when the time comes, we don't have to look for something that turns us both on. And recently, my partner showed me a video she was interested in. When I saw it, I wanted to fucking vomit, because it was my brother. It was him naked and blindfolded, masturbating and being slapped by another man. It was so disgusting to see, and when I told my wife, she felt the same. I don't even really know what I do from here. On one hand, he's my little brother, and for my whole life, he's been a little kid. On the other, it's his own life, and he's now an adult. For now, I'm keeping this to myself. I don't want to shame my brother for this, and I especially don't want to tell my extremely traditional Chinese parents in fear for what they'd say to him. Comments and op responses. I'm not confused about you confirming for certain someone's identity through a tattoo. But to be clear, this is something you do to a corpse if the head's been blown to bits. It's not the first choice. You first just look at the person, the face, posture, voice, mannerisms, and most of time that's enough. Especially if they're your flesh and blood. Again, it's extremely safe to assume you're so new your brother was in the video because it's just really easy to recognize people by a combination of all of these sort of traits. The knowledge of their tattoos is not a prerequisite to being able to identify someone. It's weird that I have to explain this. Opie, it was just the first thing I saw, you know? After I saw the tattoo, I then looked at his face for anything, and his nose matched his. I know what my brother looks like. And again, if he did speak, had his full face out, and was able to act as normal, I would have known it was him through the mentioned things. However, he wasn't speaking, had his eyes, a very defining feature of anybody's face, covered, and was in a porn video masturbating. Those aren't the ideal situations for those traits to be defining markers for an ID. Simply put, I know tattoos aren't the main thing to ID somebody, but in this case it was the first and most glaringly obvious giveaway that it was my brother. Hey, reasonable enough. But my suspicions of your so are alive and well. Not that they're alarming or scandalous, but I think your so was gently informing you of something, that's all. Opie, alright, that's understandable. Middle-aged gay man here. I have always found it the strangest thing in the world that lesbians watch gay porn. What's the deal with that? For gay men, I don't think there could be any less interesting porn than 2 women. How can gay women get off on it? I genuinely don't understand. Can you help me out here? I've always been fascinated by this. Opie, well, me and my wife are bi, so I can't really speak for all lesbians. We find both men and women sexually attractive, but not men in the romantic sense. However, if I had to take a guess for full lesbians, it's because it's just interesting to see how the other sex besides you operates in bed. It's like watching a documentary. And plus, I feel like it gives us some ideas if you know what I mean, winky face. Also, you might not need this info, but my brother has a girlfriend, so I'm pretty sure he isn't fully gay. Bi perhaps, but not gay. God WTF are the chances of that there gotta be billions of pornos out there now. Opie, it's gotta be a fraction of a percent. It's crazy. But after getting reminded about how dangerous the porn industry can be from these comments, I'm somewhat happy this happened. If I didn't see it, I probably would be living my life as normal, but I now know my brother did this and that I can help him if he needs help. Don't tell your parents, but you may want to have an open and honest conversation with your brother to check in on him. Opie, I don't want to even bring this up to him for a few years, to be honest. I'll check up on him. I do that pretty often, but I was in college too. And just the thought of one of my family members, especially your older sibling, seeing you in a porno, ugh, I'd have no motivation. I'm sure before you saw this video you would have been pretty confident he wouldn't have done something like this either. Opie, you'd be right, but he's in college working towards his degree. And whenever he was with his girlfriend, he never seemed to be super sexual with her, unlike a lot of guys his age are towards their partners. Something like a porn star would be such a world shift for me. It comes to what I think of him as. I won't think of him in a bad way, it's just a surprise. As someone who has family with connections to prostitution, talk to him. I'm sex positive when it comes to amateur content, but the industry is brutal. Pimps get their actors addicted with drugs, or form relationships with them to play off their emotions. It's all power dynamics, and your brother is at the very bottom of the chain. It might not be anything bad, but it also might something very, very, very bad that will ruin his life. This is the time for you to be a big sister. Opie, she's seen my brother, both pictures and in person. That last comment was really badly worded. She doesn't know my brother has a tattoo on his abs. He's only told that to me, and he said his girlfriend/friends. That's how I knew it was my brother right away. Commenter, your little brother is being slapped around and blindfolded in gay porn, and you're just gonna check on him and not straight up tell him what you saw? I totally understand coming from a super crazy conservative family and everything that comes with as a child of parents like that, as well as being the eldest child and sibling. I totally understand your instinct to bury this and not mention it. You don't want to get in his head and mess him up in school with grades or anything, etc. He is walking a tightrope over a pit of dirty needles and despair. One teensy waver or second guess, and it could send him down that rabbit hole so fast that by the time you realize something was kind of different, your little brother as you know him will already be dead, and the husk of a person that's left won't be far behind. Who cares about what other PPL think? That is what it's really about in families like that. What will PPL think if they find out he's in porn? And gay porn at that. What will PPL think when they hear you all just let your little brother/son die to save your reputation? Not to mention, people will find out. If people don't know already, they will. The more content he makes, the more PPL are likely to see him. That stuff never stays hidden among PPL who actually know the person, even if that person never becomes famous or a big/well-known name in the industry. Just something to think about as well.